Good morning and welcome to the Red Mic. Labor Day edition. Happy Monday, y'all. And I don't know about you, but happy about the unofficial end of the summer. Obviously, I know that summer doesn't end actually until October, but traditionally Labor Day, marks the at least unofficial end of the summer season. I think traditionally it's because uh, across the country schools would start back the Tuesday after Labor Day. I know growing up, we always started back the Tuesday after Labor Day until they started pushing it farther and farther and farther back into August. Still hate that, by the way. And I get a lot of the reasons for it, but uh, let the kids have their summers. Um, anyway, a little bit about Labor Day. But before I jump in all of that, I, I'm getting ahead of myself. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. You may have seen the other day, I posted a picture from my senior year football picture. Um, a nod to the mediocre athlete that I once was. um, that was taken during two-a-days in 1986, and they actually had us take pictures before practice because they knew after practice we'd be all sweaty and gross. But anyway, back to Labor Day. Labor Day was made a national holiday in 1894. Grover Cleveland actually signed the bill that passed with unanimous consent from Congress. Almost never happens. In fact, it's a handful of, 20 or fewer bills that I was able to figure out, but through my research, that actually passed Congress unanimously, no nay votes whatsoever. Created Labor Day. Um, this was in the wake of the Pullman strike, which was a national strike that, had turned violent and led to a push for, a reconciliation between management and labor. And although it didn't quite have all of the results that people wanted, a few years later, I think it was 1912, 1914-ish, give or take, don't quote me, when Henry Fonda initiated the 40-hour work week for his employees. Was that completely, you know, uh, a humanitarian kind of move on his part? No. He figured, you know what, if people are going to buy my vehicles, they need to be able to make money and they need to have time to enjoy my vehicles. So I'm going to pay my people and then they're going to buy my vehicles. So not a lot of altruism there on Henry's part, but it did continue the conversation that started after the Civil War, when I think it was President Grant who initiated a lot of the civil servant uh, reforms, including a 40-hour work week for federal government employees. Anyway, fast forward a few years after that, I think it was 46 years after Labor Day started. So that would have been in the 30s ish when the Fair Labor Standards Act passed. That's what actually cemented the 40-hour work week, yada, yada, moving all that forward. But anyway, fast forward today, Labor Day, again, it's a celebration of workers' achievements. And again, it's the unofficial end of summer. So now, that unofficial end of summer, uh, I spent yesterday and Round Rock checking off an item on my bucket list. I got to sing the national anthem. Hopefully, you've seen the video that I've posted on the Red Mike Messages page and also on LinkedIn. If you haven't, I would love for you to go check it out. Again, it was a bucket list item and just great day. Just enjoyed it. Wore my Rangers hat and then took it off as I was going to sing the national anthem. And, you know, some former coworkers came out. They actually bought their tickets and came out even after I was no longer working with them. And some family friends, Joy Poole and her husband came out, and their three daughters. Their lives sort of intersected with my sons because they all, were a couple of years in between each other. But Joy Poole came out, so thanks, Joy. Appreciated seeing out there. What did singing the anthem mean to me? I said it was a bucket list item. So the anthem to me is more than just a tradition. Yeah, you sing it before ball games, but it's a celebration of the freedoms, the values, and the memories that define our lives as Americans. Walt Whitman, he said baseball was the hurrah game of the Republic. He said it captures the essence of the American spirit and was full of energies that reflect who we are as a people. For me, it's some of my most cherished memories, both growing up myself playing baseball every year from first grade all the way through my freshman year. Well, not completely through my freshman year. I quit my freshman year because I was still okay in the field, but could not see the ball well enough to hit anymore. And my coach, Coach Pete Gill, he was great. He said, Pat, and I've told you back then I still went by Pat, not Patrick. He said, Pat, he said, you're fine in the field. He said, you're a good, decent second baseman, but you're an automatic hole in the lineup every time you come out. And he says, it's not your fault. You just can't see the ball. By the time my brain would register that it was time to swing, it was already too late. So I hung up the cleats, stopped playing baseball. But as a dad, some of my favorite memories relate to baseball. Whether it was helping coach or just cheering on my kids, from the stands. Baseball is family. It's community. It's the values that unite us as Americans. So when the anthem plays before that first pitch, it's not just a song. It can be a moment of reflection if you think about it. It's a connection to the past, whether it's early morning practices or the sound, that crack of the bat, the sound, the ball hitting the glove. It's a salute to the flag that represents our shared ideals, and it's a tribute to the nation that allows us to gather freely, enjoy America's pastime, live by our convictions. It's a reminder that no matter what our differences are, in that moment we stand together as Americans. And I've mentioned this before. Yeah, it's a big political season right now, and it's a whole lot of we and them and us. And at the end of the day, remember, more things unite us than separate us as Americans. Singing the anthem yesterday was, to me, it was about honoring those freedoms and the uniquely American experiences that have shaped my life. It was my privilege to check that off of my bucket list, and I'm so thankful that my wife, DJ, Daniel, and Chloe, and those friends that I mentioned before were there to help me celebrate it. And that's today's Red Mic message. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will give me a like, a follow, and a share. I hope you'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be touching on more business stuff later in the week, but again, when you check something off your bucket list, you need to give thanks a little bit. You need to recognize the moment for what it was. And I appreciate y'all being here. Go out and celebrate the rest of this Labor Day. Hopefully you got the day off. Going to bid farewell to DJ. DJ's got to head back to Oklahoma City, Edmond later today. So got to get that 6.5 hour drive out of the way. And unfortunately, that means not going to be able to stay as long as we would have otherwise liked. But every moment is cherished. Every moment is important. So go out there and make some moments today, and I will see you later in the week. And remember, life is short. Drink the bourbon.